everyone, it's Lady Pops and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing another DIY video where we're going to be making the Sheikah Shield or Sheikah Shield from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and we're going to be turning it into a phone case just like the previous video I did of Sans. I made his head into a phone case. We're going to be doing the same thing, and it's so super simple and really easy to make, so like anyone can make it. And if you haven't already, go and hit the notification bell button and the subscribe button, because I'll be uploading every Sunday and Thursday, or at least I'm trying to, because I'm a freelance prop maker. It's really hard to tell what my schedule is going to be like, but I'm trying really hard for Thursdays and Sundays. So without further ado, let's get started. So for this DIY, you're going to need some sheets of foam in brown, orange, yellow, gold, and some blue, or just white and you can paint over these. Some scissors, some paint, some pencils, a glue gun, some glue sticks, and of course your phone. And the first thing you want to do is take your brown foam, lay it down flat and trace around your phone. Take your cling film and wrap your phone. Now take another piece of foam. Originally I did it in black, but then I changed my mind and later on replaced this piece I made with brown foam. So all you want to do is measure out the width of your phone at about 4mm and cut out a strip long enough to go all the way around your phone. I needed 2 strips to cover mine, so what I did was cut out 2 pieces and then hot glue them together, as you can see. Now of course this piece was much too long, so what I did was I pulled it all the way around the phone just to get the correct length, and then when I had the correct length I actually cut about 1 inch off of that. This is because this band is going to go all the way around your phone and you want it to be tight. So once you've cut this strip, you then want to hot glue it together, then wait for it to dry and then stretch the piece around the edges of your phone. And you want to keep these strips really straight as possible. Try and do it with a ruler. I ended up doing this twice because it was the wrong colour and because it wasn't straight enough. Then take your brown foam sheet, the one which you traced your phone onto, and then draw the extra details on top, like the handle and the hole within the handle. And you want to make sure this is added on top and not on the stencil of the phone. Then you want to cut out this piece, including the hole within the phone, trace around it, and then cut out another version of it. So you have 2 identical shapes. Then around the band, around your edge of your phone, you want to mark out where the power supply is and where the volume buttons and the off button are. Then using your scissors you want to cut these pieces out, just so you have easy access to the buttons. And I find this much easier to do when you take the width of the band off of the phone, cut them out and then stretch it back onto the phone and then line up these pieces again to where they're meant to be. Then take one of your shapes and using hot glue, you want to hot glue that piece onto the back of the phone, paying close attention to the edges and where the back piece meets the edging piece of the phone. And don't worry if you miss a few bits, because you can go back with the hot glue gun later and hot glue these pieces on. And don't worry about being too messy, because this will be covered up again later. Next you want to take the other piece that you cut out earlier and then mark where your phone's screen is. And you can do it like I did here by marking 2 dots where they meet at the edge, folding the foam in half and then cutting along that whilst leaving about 5mm at the edge and then cutting that out into a square, as you can see here. And then you want to hot glue gun that piece onto your phone, paying close attention to the edging as usual and making sure that the 2 handle holes line up. It was around here I realised that the 2 handle areas were quite loose and floppy and I didn't like that, so I cut out a ton of little shapes from the foam, hot glued gun them together to form some kind of column, and then I glued them to the top edges of the phone handle case just to give it some extra structure and support. Next I measured the width between the 2 pieces of foam, as you can see here, and then I cut out a strip twice just to cover the length, and then hot glue gun that on just to hide all the messy areas, the glue and the area between the handle, as you can see. that is the basic shape done, and now we get to move on to the decoration, which is a lot more stressful. So originally I didn't have any yellow or gold foam, so what I did was bought some white foam and I traced the phone onto the foam just so I knew the basic shape for a size guide. And as you can see, I then drew the decorations onto that size guide just so I knew I wouldn't be going over the phone's size. And I did this freehand, but you can print off a picture of the Sheikah shield yourself and then trace over it later. But I recommend doing it freehand because it's always good to practice your art skills. So then as you can see, I cut out the pieces and then I gave them a nice coat of gold paint and then waited for them to dry. I also cut out the blue circles because I did have blue foam, and then I also eventually found some orange foam and cut out the little glowing bits that were also on the Sheikah shield. And after this, it is just a matter of sticking on the decoration pieces onto the phone, making sure it's as accurate as possible, and again taking your time whilst drawing these pieces, but again it is easier to trace these pieces from a piece of paper. And lastly, I did have a spark of brilliance. This is why this wasn't in the original what you will need, but I did find some string, wrap it around the edge of the handle, which I was going to originally do out of foam and which you can do out of foam, but I did find some string and I thought it looked a lot more authentic. And then once I'd wrapped the string round, I then painted it in gold, which I think looks really cool. But again, you can use foam just wrapped around, hot glue gunned on, just like the other decorational pieces. Here it is, all complete, and I really love the way it turned out because it was such a cheap DIY to do, which makes such a change, because a lot of the stuff I do is kind of pricey, but this literally cost about £2, not including the glue gun because I already had that, but all the foam and the glue included, it probably would have been around £3 because of the amount that you use. It was such a cheap DIY to do, and I really love the way it looks. It's so cool, it's really soft, so it should protect your phone. There's no guarantees, of course, but it should protect your phone. And generally it looks really cool, especially if you're going to go to a Comic-Con or something like that. And if you're going to cosplay, of course you can even put an iPad in one of these, so make a big one for cosplaying, or just keep it small and delicate and keep your phone in it. So as I mentioned, don't forget to hit that bell button and subscribe button, leave a like and comment down below for anything else you want me to make. So thank you so much for watching. This has been Lady Pops.